Hey guys, this week for our mentor sentence, we are reading the 100th Day Worries. We are looking at the IR and UR word families. You guys have done a great job on your discussion yesterday, finding your IR and UR words. And today we're going to look at quotation marks. So, the quotation marks are used when people are saying something. So when you're saying exactly what the person is saying, like in our mentor sentence, it says, "I'll get some buttons from my shirt drawer," said Dad. Well, "I'll get some buttons from my shirt drawer" is what Dad said. So we use quotation marks and a comma in our sentence so that we know that that was what Dad said. We're going to practice a few examples of these. And then you guys are going to practice some on your own. So quotation marks are used to show the exact words that someone has said or is saying. Rules, the first one is quotation marks go around the words that are being said out loud. So example, "I love eating Takis," whispered Miss Gillespie. So your quotation marks would go around "I love eating Takis" because that is what she said. But you would also put a comma right there. Okay, let's look at our practice. Miss Gillespie shouted, "Let's go Steelers." Now here, we're putting our comma after shouted because that's where you would pause. And then your quotation marks go around Steelers, and you would put your punctuation in between the word and the quotation mark. "Did you send my VIP sticker?" Layla asked. All right, so this one is asking a question. So we're going to put our quotation marks. Then we're going to put a question mark instead of a comma. And then our quotation marks. Because it is asking a question. Jonah declared, "I really love this class." So this one, we're putting our comma because that's where we are pausing. And we're putting our quotation mark, exclamation point, comma. Quotation mark. So the quotation marks go around "I really love this class." Rule number 2, the first word inside of the quotation mark should be capitalized. So here is your example. "I love eating Takis," whispered Miss Gillespie. I is capitalized, which we would always capitalize I anyway. But for this, whenever we have something in quotation marks, we always have to have a capital letter. Okay, so right here, we would capitalize let's. And it's moving all my lines on me. So the L in let's would be capitalized. In this one, we would make sure, even though it's the beginning of the sentence, it's already capitalized, but we would make sure that the D in did is capitalized. In this one, it's already capitalized because we capitalized I in the pronoun, but we would make sure that the I is capitalized because it's the first letter. Our next rule, use punctuation inside of the quotation marks. So that's what we were looking at before. So your punctuation would go here, not after these quotation marks. So you could either put an exclamation point or a comma here. We're just going to put a comma this time. This one, we would make sure that we have our punctuation right here. This time we're going to use an exclamation point. All right, remember we talked about this one would be a question mark because it's asking a question. So we're going to put a question mark in between stickers and our quotation mark. And then this one, we're going to put an exclamation mark, exclamation point between class and the quotation mark. So remember, quotation marks go around the words that are being said out loud. The first word inside of the quotation marks should be capitalized, and use punctuation inside of the quotation marks. So here is an example of what it would look like. Capital letter, quotation marks, and punctuation. All right, so let's look at just a couple more to practice, and then you guys are going to do a few on your own. Who won the football game? Questioned Rory. So we're going to put our quotation. We already have the W capitalized. This is asking a question, so we're going to put a question mark. And then we're going to put our ending quotation mark. I love math, yelled Fancy. So we're going to start with our quotation mark. We already started with a capital letter. We're going to put an exclamation point here since it says yelled Fancy. And then we have our quotation marks. And we're going to look at one more. I can't wait for Halloween, said Brooke. So this one, we're going to put our quotation mark. Then we're going to put our comma. And then we're going to put our ending quotation mark. Because we know that I can't wait for Halloween is what Brooke said. Now, you guys are going to work on a few of these on your own. Make sure you check to make sure your letters are capitalized. You have both sets of quotation marks, and you have your punctuation inside of your quotation marks.